Hi everyone, this is Sophie from SP Film Viewers.
Hello, and I'm Paul. To celebrate our upcoming 100th episode, and in the spirit of giving for the festive season, we wanted to do something charitable that is dear to our hearts.
We are going to make a donation to the Alzheimer's Society, as we have both experienced this within our families. And with all that's been going on the last couple of years, it's become much harder for people living with dementia to have the support and care they need, especially during the holidays.
So, we'll be donating £75 right off the bat to the cause, and if you'd like to make a donation yourself, you can visit the website or via the link in the show notes.
But there is another way we can help raise a little more money, and this is where you, the listener, can really help us out.
As you know, we're on the road to reaching 100 episodes, but we're also on our way to reaching 10,000 downloads. So, if we are able to reach that goal of 10,000 episode downloads by the end of the year, we will donate an additional £100 to this charity.
So all you've got to do is go and have a listen to all our episodes, yes, all of them, from the archives. They are on all major podcast platforms. We cover a whole variety of different film genres, so there'll surely be something for everyone.
The more episodes you download, the more increased exposure we get of our little film review podcast, as well as providing additional funds to help towards the Alzheimer's Society. So win-win on both sides.
Also, got some Christmas themed movies reviews coming up in December, just to make it even more exciting.
I'm sure you're very happy about that, aren't you?
I'm extremely ecstatic about it, and I'm extremely happy that we are giving at Christmas to a really worthy cause, and I know a lot of people will think the same for this charity. I am so excited for Christmas. I feel like we are doing our good deed as well. I think it's lovely to be able to give back to people if you can.
Absolutely, yeah. So we look out for those upcoming episodes, and as I said, be sure to check out all our previous episodes if you haven't listened already, or re-listen again, whatever you want to do, how you want to do it.
Even just listen to it in the background, even if it's something you've already heard, just to get us to that 10,000 downloads, because that £100 to the Alzheimer's Society will do wonders for them. It really will. So even if it is something you've already heard and you're like, oh, I don't want to listen to it again, just put it on in the background. It's not going to harm anyone, is it?
But it'll mean a great deal to us, and I'm sure it'll mean a great deal to the Alzheimer's Society.
It will.
Alright, bye for now.
Thank you in advance. Bye for now.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Even if we're horribly mangled, there'll be no sad faces on Christmas.
It's a brilliant line. I was not sure which one you were going to pick.
I feel like there was more quotable lines from the 2000 version of this film, film series, I don't know if you want to call it that we're covering today, or iterations, should I say. Yeah, so here we are for the second Christmas run-up in December, and number 99 episode, official episode
and
of our show.
Sophie's turn. But, well, kind of. We're covering one of my favourite Christmas films here, aren't we?
Yep. But I said to you, maybe we should also cover the original, which is the 1966 television short, which I've never seen and you've never seen. So it's like, oh, this would be a good, comparison of something that we'd not encountered before, really. It's kind of shocking that neither of us has really come across this in our lifetime. And then also the modernised, the latest iteration from Illuminations, the 2018 one just called The Grinch. The other ones are called How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Yeah, because that's what he does.
Yeah.
I just feel like I could just talk about the 2001, constantly. That to me is the main one. So obviously just before we get this out there, that's my favourite Christmas film out of these. Okay, so I'm not an original that wants to be, 60 odd?
66.
So that's obviously nothing wrong with it at all. and I can see the baseline of where, obviously, the Jim Carrey Grinch that we all know and love has come from.
Some people will probably say,
I don't get it.
They don't, but we'll maybe get into maybe what reasons why that may be the case.
It can't be as bad as somebody that we always slag off on our... Well, I slag off.
Yeah. It's like
on
a
mine.
meme almost of... If there was a meme, it would be like, I hate Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
Should put it on the t-shirt, maybe.
Maybe. I feel like it's a bit mean, though, isn't it? It's a bit like a bullying hate against him.
Well, I think you're not alone in that regard, to be fair.
I don't hate him personally, I just hate everything he does.
What if, in a universe where he was playing, instead of Jim Carrey...
Oh my god, no.
If Adam Sandler was playing the Grinch without...
It would not work. It would not work. I can't believe you're even trying to make me think that this would be a thing.
In a parallel universe, that could have been the case.
Well, it would be the worst movie ever then.
Worst Christmas film ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'm trying to think of what you think is the worst Christmas film, to be fair. Don't say. Don't you say it.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll have to see. Oh, well, I mean, I haven't seen every Christmas film. There's millions of Hallmark ones that are probably like, oh, this is just, why is this even... Yeah, but anyway, we're here to talk about the Grinches, and we're going to start with the short one, 1966 version. I think it's easier to go through chronologically.
Obviously, first of all, just a brief overview of what the Grinch is, if nobody knows what it is. So, he is a green, monstery, Grinchy thing.
Fun fact, in the original Dr. Seuss printed book, he was actually not even green. Because of the fact that it was obviously cost a lot back in the day for when to publish. He didn't actually have a colour, so when they made this television short, it was like, approached him, I presume it was Chuck Jones, the director of this animation, and it's like, right, what colour should he be? Because the book doesn't like portray that.
So is it just like an outline on the book then?
Yeah, it's like black and white sketch, almost like a thing, and there's a bit of red. Obviously for like the hats and stuff, and obviously because like Cat in the Hat, obviously referred to that. So other than reds and blacks,
so you wouldn't know what colour he was.
Yeah.
But I think green suits him.
Oh, definitely, yeah, because it's a Christmas colour, doesn't it? So yeah, and also like there's no, you think of anything like, well, there's no animal that kind of has like a green fur coat, does it, or anything like that? So it's like a very strange colour, and obviously it's like more like a green you associate with envy, isn't it? It's like a...
Yeah, it's like a jealous kind of
colour, yeah.
So you've got obviously Wicked, haven't you?
Yeah, and stuff like that. So it's kind of... That was an interesting tidbit I found out, really. So that's where the original... It's a bit like the... It's odd to like how like Santa was well, obviously Saint Nick was represented with green, and it was Coca-Cola who changed it to red.
Yeah, and it depends on where you are. So I think he could be blue as well. Was that? So I think it was more like Norway. Please don't correct me if I'm completely wrong. But it's more that they had Santa Claus on, so maybe in the Netherlands, and he was blue.
Yeah.
So they do have different colours depending on whereabouts you are in the world. But obviously, yes, it is Coca-Cola that has taken over and made Santa red.
Yeah, that's right.
So going back to the Grinch's story, he's kind of... Well, with this one, you don't really know how he's got to be living in the Who's... Is it Wholand? Whoville.
Yeah.
And you don't know how he's living there or anything. He's just obviously there, and clearly he hates Christmas, but every Who loves Christmas. Like, to bits. Yeah. And this is kind of the similar beat throughout. Obviously, the Grinch hates Christmas. He's had a bad upbringing, and one traumatic Christmas is made...
Well... not so much in this one, is it? Because
but you just must assume that something's gone bad
in the short runtime. That it is obviously there's not a lot of time to explain why that is.
It really isn't.
Which I get.
It's like is it 25 minutes or something?
Yeah, something like that. It's very short. But I guess obviously for budgetary reasons they can't go into they get an hour long episode, and obviously. But
the short part of it that it does have, it is golden with what it gives you.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
So. It feels like we said, didn't we? Like a bit of a Looney Tunes kind of vibe.
Well, the director, Chuck Jones, who had done a lot of work on like the Looney Tunes cartoons, obviously. So there's definitely elements in that watching them going, yeah, that is very much like, from Roadrunner and those kind of things. And, we kind of like look at the camera like what what am I going to do in this situation? Kind of I love the Looney Tunes, and that reflects so well in this, and that's a very high point for me in this. Like looking at this, kind of like, oh my god, this is great.
It brings you back to like childhood, doesn't it? Really, just kind of you feel like you've put yourself in front of the TV as an adult, and then somehow you've reverted into a child within like seconds of it opening.
Yeah,
and it's just fantastic to watch. It's so colourful as well.
Yeah. There's a lot of, despite obviously the lack of, like the skyline is simply just a blue background and stuff. There's no like detail in the clouds or anything. But obviously, I can appreciate the fact that obviously like this frame by frame animation stuff. It's all 2D and stuff.
Yeah.
The line work on that, and obviously there's quite a lot of complex drawings involved in what they do, especially like when the Grinch is like explaining now he doesn't like noise and stuff.
That went on for so long, didn't it?
But I get it, because like that's one of the things, because a lot of people don't like noise at Christmas, because obviously like if kids are just rattling like blaring
the toys
and
or
everything.
whatever.
I get it. I totally get it.
But it does come across in this one for no reason that you can relate to, because he doesn't tell you. A grumpy little sod, basically, that just hates Christmas like an old man.
Yeah, which reflects when he says like, 53 years or whatever he says in one of the lines. He says, I can get it. He looks like haggard and like, just hates the world almost, kind of thing. And there's some great shots of it where, like he's like, there's like a low angle of him like with his finger down on like leaning over the mountain kind of thing, like, and just like the way they shoot it, they create the shots for it. It's just really on point, really, for reflecting his sour mood, basically, and everything. Yeah. And
I feel like Max within this is kind of the like, oh, why me kind of face. Like, like if you had what's it, maybe
Wile E. Coyote. He's a bit like that, isn't he? He's like, looking at the screen, like, help me, kind of thing. Oh, kind of thing. Yeah.
I love how you knew what I said.
Yeah.
I went beep. But yeah, you do. But you feel sorry for Max within this a lot. Like,
a lot more, because he looks like he's put through the ringer on most of the scenes he's in. It's kind of like, he's proper beaten down, almost like he's
just used, really, as Max, isn't he, within this? And the Who's, bless him, you don't really get to know much of the Who's. Like, we see Cindy Lou. Yeah,
she's definitely the standout, and she's so adorable, actually.
She's
like,
really cute.
Her design is obviously made to stand out, and obviously made to be look really cute. Kind of like the big eyes and everything, the blonde hair and everything. It's like,
she's adorable.
Yeah.
She is. And she's only 2 in this one, so like her meaning and behind this, there isn't really any kind of moral of why she's there.
No. But she's quite articulate for the short line that she does say, which I kind of find odd for a 2-year-old, but whatever. Yeah.
Like, why are you taking our tree?
Why? Yeah, I don't know. I can't imagine a 2-year-old in the real world saying that, but whatever. It's just obviously for the rhyming purposes, probably based more specifically from the book. So, you've got to use what you got. So
it was really true to probably the book, and I feel like the 2000 version is true to this kind of TV series. I feel they've adapted it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But there is so much more elements to it which match.
Yeah. I feel like the 2001 takes most of like obviously like the narration elements from that, and it obviously builds on that a bit more, of course. But obviously a longer run time and stuff. But I feel like they did a good job with this short version, like adapting it in like a concise, compact version of the film, like the story beats everything what the book is, I assume. And it kind of encapsulates everything pretty well, to be honest. You kind of got all you need to know, really. And like I say, I can't fault the animation, aside from for the fact of obviously, like when he's like saying like he's slithering like a snake, and he's actually doing that as part of the animation, and obviously like taking all the things, describing like what he's taking all the stuff, and like he's taking like literally like everything but the kitchen sink, like he's taking ice cubes and plant petals off the thing, and
I'm pretty sure when they said ice box, I'm pretty sure that must mean the freezer.
Yeah.
Within this, and not actually like literally ice cubes, because like they're just gonna melt, aren't they? But
he's so devious that he's just
and he doesn't seem to have as much of a heart in this one. Like he doesn't seem guilted by the fact that
No, you don't see that in this one, do you? With the Cindy Lou bit, it's kind of just like, I'll just carry on, just doing it, whatever.
Yeah,
Didn't dwell on that like the other ones.
He's so grumpier in this. I feel like you part of you could think he's not going to turn around in it because he's that stuck in his ways and a grumpy old man.
Yeah. That's definitely... Maybe that's obviously what they were trying to go for initially, because obviously people are thinking, it's just how it is, because they've probably seen like a load of cartoons all about that, and kind of like, they're not going to change, that's just how the demeanour is.
Yeah.
The only thing I was I say fault because I know animation is quite expensive to do. Obviously, I had to recycle a lot of the like shots of, like when he's throwing out the sacks out of the chimneys and everything. There's obviously those repeat loops when there was like a montage of stuff,
but obviously that's
stuff like that. But I completely get that. Obviously, short run time, cutting costs, and just doing that. It's just going to be the same thing. But I'll let that fly really for that.
It's good of you.
Yeah. I completely understand.
I can't fault it. I really can't, and I feel like it'd be something if I had a child, I would gladly let them watch it.
It's so strange. I don't think it's like, it seems to be obviously more an American thing, because I can't think any point in, this is why I mean like coming to it this late in the game of seeing it on, like, you have to get like a disc. I feel like it's probably one of the things going to get repeat watch type of thing.
Yeah, well, we watched it twice, didn't we, actually? Because...
because give the benefit of, like, because it's so short, I feel like it deserves another look rather than just one and done type of thing. But it's never been on, to my knowledge, not been on TV
not
over
here
or something. It's more like, must be on in the States type of thing. Yeah. Which
definitely. Which kind of leads to me with the 2000. Is it 2001?
No, 2000.
2000.
Yeah. Just before we go to delve into the 2001, because I'm sure you got a lot to talk about with that one. The fact that in this one, I kind of like the fact that you see him throughout with like those yellow eyes and the red dot.
Yeah.
His pupil.
It looks like a crocodile kind of look, doesn't it?
Like a snake, kind of reptilian almost. And then obviously when he kind of comes to the realisation of the true meaning of what like Christmas is all about, his eyes kind of like change that, the white and then the blue. And it's like, like how this is, his whole demeanour has changed, and he's kind of like, I know, I get it now, type of thing, and I like that.
The meaning of Christmas.
Yeah. And he's not grumpy anymore, and everything. I do like that.
I thought it was clever as well to see how his heart grew his 2 sizes as well. That was quite cleverly done, and obviously the sunlight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because you get that almost like star in the sky that comes out when the Who's in the square. There's no like, where's the presents and all that stuff. It's kind of like. They just carry on as normal. It's like they don't even care about what's going on. They just go, just do the celebration. There's no more delving into that kind of thing. Obviously, short run time, but it works to the effect of like this glowing orb, whatever it is, that kind of just goes into the glimmer of hope of like this is Christmas almost encapsulated, and that kind of like brings the sunrise and everything. Everything's all like hope, joyous and hopeful and everything. Really, really good.
I'm loving this. I feel like Paul is actually really, really liking this series. And I feel like you're going to enjoy, I think, hoping for a good score on the first one now from what you've said.
For the first one, yeah, I can definitely vouch that there's going to be a good score.
And then I'm hoping the second will follow suit. And then the third, I don't care. Okay. We're going to do the scoring at the end so everyone knows.
Yeah.
What
so you've got to keep listening.
Yeah. In a nice little bow.
Yeah. Keep listening. Right, okay, so I think we've covered all we need to on the first one, the short one. So we'll go now into your in-depth, I'm sure, review of the Ron Howard version.
Jim Carrey,
yeah.
I can't wait. I'm so excited. I'm not going to lie. It's the best. So this is the most amazing Christmas film ever. I will watch it every year and never get bored. I feel like this is the film for me where I know every line and I can probably sell you all of the lines. No.
You see.
While it's on, like...
Well, that's no good, though, is it?
Well, I don't think you could recite a full movie.
Not a full movie,
Come on, do Jurassic Parks now. Is that a dinosaur?
Life finds a way.
So, first of all, I realised that I was lucky enough to encounter seeing The Grinch probably in America. And I feel like this is something I've got an attachment to. So I think my actual first watch of The Grinch...
Yeah, this version, yeah.
This version was while I was actually at America.
Okay.
I don't know if I watched it on the plane going. And then, luckily, because it was around Christmas time when we went.
Okay.
It was probably Thanksgiving.
Right, okay.
Yeah, makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And we had tickets to Disneyland and Universal back then was better. I don't know now, I can't make the judge because it was, well, how old am I now? Yeah, I was in primary school, so it's been a while.
Okay.
And I actually went to Whoville. It's the most amazing thing. And weirdly, this is the most thing I've taken away from that American holiday.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why. Obviously, we had Jaws and Jurassic Parks. We've recreated those. And now I feel like it's coming round to the nice Grinch. Obviously, I met the Grinch and I love him. I do. I don't know why. I love him so much. I feel like anyone who despises Christmas is like a challenge for me. It's like, right, I'm going to crack you. You're going to love Christmas just as much as me. And I feel that's a little bit like me and you.
Yeah, how so?
Not saying you don't love Christmas, but you're not at my level.
No, that's true.
You're about on a scale of maybe a 3, and I'm like at a 10. And I think that was what you probably a 3 when I met you. I think he might be a 6 now.
I'd say so. You've kind of turned me around on some aspects, embracing it a little bit more. But
you just don't like any of the faff. You like it once it's done.
Oh yeah, it's nice to look at, obviously, when you put the lights up and everything and the decorations and
but
stuff.
You don't have the patience.
No, I really don't.
And at some point, it's like, obviously, with your parents, they're the same. Their level of enthusiasm for Christmas is just not to my standard. So it's like, well, eventually I want to crack that person and be like, right, but why don't you want to do Christmas? Like, what is it? And I feel like this is kind of the story. Because Christmas isn't about your pretty lights, it's not about your presents, it's not about anything, is it, really? And that's kind of what the whole meaning of this movie is.
Right, okay.
And I think that's what I love. So it's got a moral behind this, even though there are so many fantastic bits about this film.
Can I just, sorry to interject for a second?
Yeah.
You feel like you've kind of contradicted yourself there, because you said about, like, it's not about the lights and stuff, even though in our living room it's full of lights.
It's not.
And outside.
It's not, though. It's lovely to have them. Don't get me wrong, and that gives you that Christmassy feel.
Yes.
But you can still have Christmas without that. That's what this film is saying.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely. This is definitely... Well, I mean, even the other one was kind of like anti-commercialism.
Mm.
But this, obviously, this one tries to delve into that a little bit more. It's got more wiggle room to explain that a little bit more with everything. Yeah. And
I think, obviously, if people want to, like, if people want to do the lights and everything like that, then they can. Mm-hmm. But the whole reason for Christmas is to spend time with your loved ones.
Yes.
Or, if you're like me, my favourite part of Christmas is the giving.
Yeah, definitely so. You said to me this year and many other years, I'm sure, the fact that you didn't feel truly Christmassy until you started, like, getting a list together and going, right, I've got those gifts for these people that, you know, like family members and stuff, and it's like, yes, now I feel like I can't wait to actually give you the presents, because that's more the thing, the enjoyment of that, to see your face react to what you've got. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think that's the part where it's like, oh, I've got somebody a really good gift and can't wait to give them it. Yeah. It's not really about the receiving side for me, because I never know what I want. Whereas you're like, oh, here's a list of all these DVDs.
Blu-rays, 4Ks.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
4Ks, yeah.
You're going to be weighing Santa's sack down. So, where do I start? First of all, Jim Carrey in this is absolutely amazing.
I was going to say, if it wasn't him, I mean, I can't, like I said, I know we joked about Adam Sandler before, but I don't know who else you could envision fitting in this role, because he's definitely the strongest part of this film. If he wasn't in it, it would be pretty ropey, I think.
I know he ad-libs a lot onto this.
Oh,
so
yeah, he
there's
did.
many scenes where he's just been him, Jim Carrey's self, and they're just carrying on filming and thinking, this is fantastic, we're just going to go with it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes him the Grinch, like the face expressions, the noises he makes.
Yeah, a lot of the facial stuff is, even though when it's like really like, there was like contorting his face, like to literally like to almost a breaking point. It's like that's not prosthetics or any like weird like CGI or anything like that. It's actually him doing this weird like face and stuff. So it works. Obviously, you've seen him in like The Mask and like
another green character,
Liar Liar and stuff like that. And when he's just going absolute batshit. Yeah,
and it's fantastic. It really is. I feel like he's the only one who actually makes comedy work for me personally. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you've got, like you're saying, Mask, like there's what's the ones for the animals?
Ace Ventura.
Yeah. All of those kind of ones that he's done.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely amazing, and they do make me laugh. I have a funny bone when it comes to Jim Carrey.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the scenes that he does do on his own are so strong. He's not actually interacting with anybody when he's actually in his cave or whatever mountain.
Yeah. I do like that aspect of in this one where he's kind of like alone in a dark, dingy cave. Mm-hmm. It very much reflects his mood of how he is, of isolation and everything. It's kind of fitting for the character.
Yeah, because I think in the earlier stage one, it's not so clean, but it's a little bit more tidy than obviously the 2000s.
Obviously it's early cartoon one is you haven't got time to show great detail of the cave and stuff. It's just like he just lives in the mountain, really. So that's all you need to know, really. Whereas this, obviously, there's like it's a big chasm almost of stuff, and it's
just a mess.
It's because he lives like a junk pile of where all the Who's below him, like a garbage chute, and just he gets all the rubbish and stuff.
Well, like you say, another man's rubbish is another man's treasure.
Yeah.
And it's hazard waste or something. Taking it up.
Waste,
yeah. It's just certain bits are just fantastic. Also, I know Max, the dog in this, I believe he was a stray dog.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
And Jim Carrey at the end adopted him and took him home, basically. Such a clever little dog as well. He does all his little kind of, obviously tricks, so when he's like covering his nose or popping off the red
he rejects his nose because he's against commercials and
and then like obviously scraping his bottom on the carpet bit.
That's one of the scenes is like, what do you really find that as like a good bit? That obviously that's like later on in the film when he's kind of like doing all the pranks and stuff around us in Whoville and stuff, but they're kissing a guy's ball type of thing. I don't know, it's a bit like, I know you don't see it, but it's obviously implication, but it's a bit
I just feel sorry for Max, really, but I know it doesn't happen to him clearly.
Yeah.
But
because they've got those big enlarged eyes, which obviously is just like an effect, but it's like, really.
But I just think Max himself being able to do all of those tricks.
Obviously, he's a real dog. It's not like a CGI dog, which I think they probably wanted to try and do that, but I think that would have definitely worked. No, I'm glad that they're actually a real dog because it works in the confines. Obviously, it's more relatable in that aspect. So,
and I feel like the relationship they've got together works really well.
Yeah, in this one, he's kind of obviously a little bit mean, but he still kind of needs him, I guess, really, doesn't he?
And he does love Max. You can tell he does because it's his company. It's all he's got. Yeah,
literally all he's got. Do you think about the fact that how he got Max? I assume the fact he might have got him from the garbage because of, like he explains later on, like, he says about a pony or something that you play with once and then you just get rid of it. So there's obviously somebody's just got rid of a dog.
Possibly.
Like a puppy, whatever.
Yeah.
And then,
well, people do, not saying it's correct, people do get dogs just for Christmas and they aren't.
Yeah, and then they just got rid of.
And then like, oh, it's not a puppy anymore.
Yeah,
and
just get shot,
Yeah.
I'm bored, yeah. So I guess that's the implication there, but yeah.
I'm assuming that's how it is, or he's a stray.
But from where? Because you don't see any other one.
What's really weird is there's no other animals actually around.
Yeah, exactly, that's what I mean. It's just the world is populated by these, obviously the Who's is the thing, which on itself begs the question, obviously, when in this one it's kind of like saying they're on a snowflake.
I know, I love it. It makes it so magical every time it snows because I wonder, like, oh, I wonder if who lives in here.
But then that makes me think, obviously, like, well, the lifespan of a snowflake is like minimalistic, isn't it? Because obviously that
it
falls
depends
in
on where
it
the
melts.
Snowflake is.
It melts away, and that's that, and it's done. So
No.
unless time travels really slowly, like
what about if they're in the North Pole?
Yeah, but the land
Are they Antarctic?
Obviously, it's not implied where this snow is falling, of course, but
so it could land and it could freeze.
But it's eventually going to just. Where does it go? You know, that there's going to be a point where obviously that disappears. And
are you just trying to kill off the whole Who people?
I'm just saying this. Obviously, that's what it's implying. It's like, because he's just the narrator, Anthony Hopkins, he's a good.
He is
an actor in his own right, doing this narration, and he's saying like, oh, if you see a snowflake like the one on your sleeve. That's not going to be. That's not.
Well, no, yeah, it could be a lot of the murderer.
Then you've killed people, and it's like every snowflake has like it's like a universe.
I love how you have to twist this.
No, but that's what it's playing because it's like like.
Don't you just think it's magical to think that something could live inside something so small? Like,
of course, there's microbes that with like millions of little particles and stuff like that. But
no, but like literally little mini Who's.
But I'm saying like, what's the lifespan? Like, there must be like. Because they've implied within this, obviously some breaking this down and everything, but this is making me think, like, how long does the time within a snowflake from falling from the sky, obviously it's a long way down.
You mean like going to a different planet or something? Is this what you mean? And then different time zones?
No, like a second in Who land is like 10,000 years in real life or something.
Maybe.
Because they made it sound like, oh, it's the whatever, how many years of being, you know, they talk about Easter and stuff like other holidays they celebrate. So it's not like a short life, not like a fly where you're supposed to live for a day type of thing. It's not like one of those kind of situations, but it's, yeah.
I do want to say it's a film and maybe you're thinking too much into it.
Maybe, but it's just, yeah.
So clearly, when you
can't be thinking snowflakes, and you stick it on your tongue, and then you've dissolved the whole population of people.
I can't believe you're saying this because, like, if you have a child and they watch this, now you're gonna be like, "Oh, don't go out in the snow because you're gonna kill the Who's."
Well, the film even says that. Not saying about obviously the thing on your sleeve. So it's like, well, you've just killed some people now because it's dissolving in the fabric. So sorry.
Maybe nobody lives on that one.
Okay. How do you know which ones have populations and which ones don't?
The ones in the North Pole, clearly. No. Anyways. But you really, really have digressed here. So,
sorry. Just thought I'd bring that up because I did want to bring it up.
Yeah. I love how you're wasting so much time and energy on it. Are you really upset about if you kill a Who? Is that what it is?
I'm not upset. Anyway. Just at a point because none of the other ones really bring this up about being on a snowflake, so...
Well, I like it.
Okay.
I don't think I'm going murdering them. I'm thinking, oh, what if a Who lives there? Mm-hmm. That's what I'd think instead. You've really thrown me off now.
Sorry. I'll say something else that obviously that happens at the beginning of the film anyway. The whole thing in this one being that everyone seems like afraid of the Grinch.
Yes.
Almost to the point he's like almost like mythical in the sense like, oh, you know, like we'll go to the mountain. It's like they say he like, I don't know if he says like feasts on the flesh of the Who's or something like, or say they go to the cave and it's like go knock on the door like as if he's like something's gonna pop out, and obviously this big cartoon head that Max is barking down to terrify him away, which is fine. I kind of like that aspect of it because it makes him a bit more like like he's a recluse and like no one's seen him for years and years. But then I forgot that immediately after that bit, it's kind of like, oh, I'll just go down to the town. Like, why are you going down to the town? Because I thought that in the other one was like...
Well, the other one, he just walks around and it's like...
Everyone like kind of like, oh, hey, Guy Grinch.
And it's like, why are they being all nice to you when, you've reclused yourself?
Yeah, because he's going like shopping. But but I've forgotten this one, he kind of goes and...
But he's disguised somewhat.
It's disguised, but it's like, why does he need to go down? Because
he's wanting to terrorise them because he's miffed off. Bored. No, he's annoyed that the fact that they knocked on the door. So it's revenge, it's like a payback. even though it's not to them
precisely.
I don't. It's kind of like you've come into my territory.
Yeah, but I feel like he shouldn't really bother with him. Really, to be fair, if he was more the thing, he'd just be like, I don't want to be involved.
You get the menacing kind of character come out, the kind of little troublemaker, and also you get the first encounter then with Cindy Lou, who.
Yes, and I want to bring this up as well. You definitely won't see it this way. But I genuinely thought, like, that first encounter with her, again, she's probably never seen him before at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of low-key, plays like a horror, in the fact that she's, obviously, Cindy Lou, can you take these things in, his dad says, can you take these cards or whatever into the back room? Yeah. Everything's going, what's going on in here and everything, and it's kind of like, the Grinch is above in the ceiling because he's hiding away or whatever. Yeah. And he drops down and it's and there's a screaming, and it's like, you're the Grinch, and he does that close up shot and everything, and kind of she falls down into the sorting pile of the presents and everything, and kind of almost you finished off almost. Obviously that doesn't happen.
No.
Because Max is like, no, don't leave.
You can't do that.
And then shortly after that, she's like, thanks for saving me, and he's like, because he's like, he can't cope with the fact that he thinks that she was saving you, and then he comes with the wrapping paper. He's almost like going to finish you off, kind of thing, just wrap you up.
Well, I think it's really clever the way it's done, that bit.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously the way he gets the wrapping paper, and you see him wrapping something up, and then they put on the conveyor belt the same box in the same wrapping paper that looks like it's going on the conveyor belt.
Mm-hmm.
So she's going to get kind of through the machine.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it makes you think. However, he's wrapped her up just as a person in a corner, not put her through the machine or anything like that to hurt her.
Yeah.
So he thinks, and I think it's really funny because he thinks he's done something to kind of be like, she'll be scared of me for the rest of my life now.
Yeah.
And really, she doesn't think of it in a bad way.
No. She's more intrigued by him, really.
And I think it's like, well, why did he rescue me when everyone says he's so mean? Why did he...
Yeah, exactly.
Not do that then.
But I think it's really because Max is like, no, come on, mate. Don't leave her hanging. She's going to get crushed. But I just kind of saw that aspect because a lot of the lighting in this, despite trying to be colourful, I know you're probably going to think about it, but it does seem kind of a little bit dark and dingy for what it's, I know it's kind of...
Especially with the Grinch, obviously, his cave and everything, I'll admit.
But I'm talking about the in Whoville, whatever. It's
really?
It's not really vibrant. It's kind of like a bit like pale, there's like a bit of a mist, like a what's it called, Vaseline on the lens type of thing. A bit like soft lighting that's not really like a blur or anything. But there's a lot of dark, muted colours, I guess is what I'm trying to say to it. Despite it's not vibrant like the 2018 one is. It's
god awful. But I think with this one it works well because the Grinch is actually the most vibrant colour, even though he's obviously he's pure green, obviously. Yeah, and it's kind of like a bit of a neon-y green, whereas everything else is like a baby pinks, pastel colours. Yeah. And it works, I feel, within it. Mm-hmm. I just think everything of this film is fantastic. There's no bad thing for me that I could actually possibly say. Even if you flung it at me, I'd try and twist it. Okay. Can I say no? the characters themselves, the Who's themselves, with the prosthetics that they've got with the obviously the mousy nose type of thing. Obviously the majority, obviously Cindy Lou's more normal than the rest. Yeah. What do you really make of them? Do you find that not a bit freaky in a sense? I don't find it freaky, no. I do think it's nice to think of it that way because obviously it makes them like a mythical kind of creature, kind of like this magical kind of element, where it's on a snowflake. It's not like it's a human element. Like in Super Mario, where I said before about why weren't they, if they were descended from dinosaurs, why weren't they looking like dinosaurs or anything? I get that aspect to it. Obviously the design's not the greatest thing, who thought that the nose and everything needs to be kind of pointed out. Yeah, like a rat almost. I was thinking more like a dog or something, but 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 no, maybe a rat or a mouse. Yeah, possibly. And like the hairstyles, like why are they all up? I don't know.
Yeah. What's all that about? Yeah.
But I still think it works as a character design. The way that they dress as well. It's just a whole unique world that they've created. So I really enjoy that aspect. I don't think it's the best design, but it...
Okay, so there is something bad.
I wouldn't slag it off, though, and go, well, why did you do that way? Because I wouldn't know what other way to do it.
Okay. I don't know if more from the just more simpler thing, like from the book, I don't know. But...
Well, even the book, they've got that funny little nose thing going on.
Well, I guess. I mean more the clothes, really, but obviously it's more like keeping it hip and modern. Obviously, like, because they still wear, like, trainers and stuff, and the scarves and coats and everything like you would a normal person, so there's that aspect to it. But obviously, you can't have it too out there, because you can't sort of relate, I guess, to a normal circumstance. So I guess we'll now go on to the main thing of this one has a bit of more of a backstory as to why he hates Christmas, which I kind of get, obviously, seeing.
I really value that part within this film. And I think that kind of, I know this sounds daft, I'm going to relate it to when we watched The Joker.
Okay.
You kind of got the backstory of him and you understand why he became the Joker, why he does certain things. And I think that's the same element. So obviously, Cindy Lou Who is now thinking, right, okay, what I want to know more. There's not much about the Grinch out there for me to understand. And I think she's about 8 or so in this now.
Yeah.
So obviously different age gap to 2 years old. Yeah. And she goes round and starts asking regarding the Grinch.
Yeah.
So my aspect is, first of all, I do find this a bit oddly. He's got like 2 mums, which is fine. So obviously nothing against that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they're trying to do that or if it is just, I don't know if it's his aunties or if they are in a relationship. And that's really unclear to me what that is.
All I know is from that scene where they kind of like explain now the night he came down from the sky and everything, they're having like a swingers party because they're like putting the keys in like in a glass bowl.
I didn't get what that was.
That's something for the adults, definitely, because it's like...
Am I such a child that I still don't know it?
Yeah, it's something that they used to do, like... I don't know if they
still do.
Yeah, like, put your keys in the thing and you pick up your car keys, you're going home with that person type of thing.
Oh my God, you're joking.
No, I'm not joking. This is a thing. I don't know if this still exists, but it's definitely...
I know there's swingers out there, but I didn't know you just got a random key. What if you didn't want to go with that person? No, you're all right.
Yeah.
Don't want to go with them.
But there was another joke there as well, like that when they're dropping from the sky and the baby who's like, oh, it's our baby's here. It's like, he looks like your boss, and it's like, implying that, the wife has been sleeping around.
Yeah, I got that one.
Yeah.
So there is certain aspects, but then it makes it think. Also, when they're telling Cindy Lou Who this, is it actually how it happens with the stork? Oh, they're coming out down from the sky,
whatever the fancy name they give. Well, the fancy name, the gobbledygook name they give for the
Is it equivalent of like ours telling? When you're little storks.
That's where babies. That's how it works. Yeah. Of course it is. Yeah.
Instead of actually the real reasons.
Yeah.
So it's like, but then it's like, well, is that actually true? Because the reason that he becomes into the world is he knocks another Who out of the way.
Yeah.
Is there a Grinch land or Grinch world where he should have gone?
Well, I don't know why he's called the Grinch in this, because it's not really like a... Where does that even come from anywhere other than the fact that the book says so? It's not like your name is the Grinch.
No, and we don't actually know what his name is. It's just obviously just Grinch is like the character he is, isn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
But I do feel like they're missing a trick of where they could actually do this, where this other Who has gone into this dark, Grinchy world, and he loves Christmas or she loves Christmas. And then you've got all replicas of the Grinch.
I guess so. I'm somewhat semi-interested to know if that was a thing they delved into, but I'm not like, I must know that information.
But I feel like it'd be a darker Christmas one.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it's food for thought, definitely. But the baby one is kind of somewhat endearing a little bit, but he's kind of like, obviously more like a puppet, isn't he, really? So it's
I
kind of like,
just feel so sorry for him. I really do. Like,
Yeah.
he has a hard upbringing. Obviously, he doesn't... It's not
he
the
was
same.
left out in the cold for the whole night.
Yeah.
Poor bastard, yeah.
He's not the same as the other Who's, is he? He's not... Obviously, he can tell he's different.
Well, yeah, obviously, yeah.
And I feel like it's one of those things where you watch kind of like Jungle Book, obviously, or Tarzan.
With Mowgli and...
Yeah, where the kind of somebody's taking on a child that maybe isn't theirs and kind of teaching him the ways, and obviously certain things that are just inherited in your blood, that he wants to bite Santa's biscuit plate instead of eating a biscuit.
I don't know where that really stems from, though, because, like, he's only just come into this world. It's like, what has he just got this hatred for Christmas right off the bat?
I think it's more what he thinks is edible to
well,
him.
no, because he says, like, Santa, and it's like, how does he know that word? He's only just come here, and it's like, what? I don't know, there's something about that that's a bit odd. I get maybe when he's older, even though I do find that kind of funny, like when he's like having that little chuckle when he's drawing like Santa's slide going crashing or whatever. I do like that bit. It's like a vindictive little...
Yeah, he is. He really is. And is...
So he kind of hates Christmas right at the bat somehow. I don't know, it's just...
I think it's because it's been forced down his neck, because all the Who's love it so much. And it's like me with David Bowie. It's like, here, listen to this, do this, this.
Yeah.
And I feel like if anyone gets it rammed down the neck, they're just not going to really enjoy it.
Yeah. But it's only when he... Was it Martha May? Yeah. As like, for whatever reason, she has like a crush on him or whatever. And he's kind of like, ooh, right, I'll make her a Christmas present.
Oh, and bless him, he's so handy. He makes this lovely angel out of like a colander and some
destroys
metal.
some priceless heirloom, and he's like smashing it. It's like I like that element. It's like just destroying valuable property and stuff. But his heart's in the right place there. But I mean, it's not her that kind of like ruins it for him. It's everyone else who's like,
it's mainly the mayor, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whatever his name is, I don't.
Oh, I can't remember, but it's just the mayor here, the young mayor,
and he's an absolute twat.
And then everyone, his classmates are all laughing as well. Even the teacher at that point, when he's like revealed, like when he's tried to shave his face, he didn't really need to shave his face though, to be honest, because he didn't have any hair in the area where he was doing it. But anyway, whatever. And the teacher's like, and all the other kids are laughing. So yeah, I get the annoyance. Like, I tried to get involved, and you just shouldn't be anyway, just because I'm different, and it's not. Yeah, I get that really. So then,
and then he runs away, and he's only 8 years old.
Yep.
And he's now, well, if according to the actual book, is he 53? I don't know.
In this one, they don't say that.
No.
So it's fair enough, but...
I just feel really sorry for him, and I think Cindy Lou feels the same in the end, and obviously then she nominates him to be part of the Chairmeister.
Oh yeah, I think at some point she has a song as well, which is kind of like a bit like...
carrying a torch around. Yeah, I just kind of ignore that bit, to be fair. But she's a good little actress. Let's give Cindy Lou Who...
I think you probably know this better than I do. You saw the show, but am I right in thinking that she was in Gossip Girl?
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
So obviously you've got... I forgot her name now.
In Gossip Girl.
Selena is in Gossip Girl, but she's that's obviously Blake Lively. Oh no, is it Selena? No, it's not. She's called S. That's what I normally call her.
Okay.
Anyways, it's she's a sister of one of the guys, and then she becomes really mean in the end. Actually, to be fair, she becomes like a really mean character. But
spoilers.
Everyone's watched Gossip Girls. If you haven't, it's really good.
I haven't watched Gossip Girl.
Yeah, but everyone else will have. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's an upper life privilege kind of thing. But obviously, she's playing a character who isn't, and is in kind of trying to fit in with the upper class trend of like New York kind of thing. Mm-hmm. It's quite good in that, to be fair, but I feel like Cindy Lou Who's a better portrayed for a character.
Okay. Well, no, she went on to be in the band.
You actually saw her live, didn't you?
Yes, the Pretty Reckless, yeah.
Which just seems really bizarre to me because...
Like from an actress to a rock chick, yeah.
Yeah. And just looking at what Cindy Lou Who looks like.
Yeah, I know, yeah. But, maybe this was like, ugh. kind of shed that
maybe
past. But you've got to start somewhere, I suppose.
Well, I'd been well made up if I were her. It's like, oh my god, I'm acting
Forever.
next to Jim Carrey here.
Yeah.
Made it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like, to be fair, I'd still say this is her best performance yet. What we do find out, though, is Martha May hates how the Grinch is treated.
Yeah.
And it really breaks her heart. However, can't break her heart that much because she doesn't stick up for him. Like, if you're really upset, and why don't she defend him a little bit more? Why don't she... I think she likes to fit in, does Martha May, and...
Yeah, definitely, yeah. It's one of those things, and it's like, stick with what you know kind of thing, just to conform to everything, yeah.
So obviously, Cindy Lou Who is trying to bring him along.
To be the chairmaster.
Wants him to be a part of it, nominates him. Obviously, she has a little bit of an interim with the mayor at some point as well.
Yeah, that's kind of like, she's trying to like fob her off kind of thing. It's like, no, it's like, oh, it's in the book, it says that. And she's like, no, it doesn't. And kind of like, and there's like a back and forth in the crowd, and it's like, oh, what? I don't believe in her. Like, yes, come on, mayor, give you retort on the situation.
And I think it's really cleverly done throughout. And you hope he's like, oh, the Grinch won't come. And then she actually climbs up the mountain, bless her, to make sure he does come. Yeah.
There's this bit, though, which as much as like Jim Carrey's like goofiness, like wackiness or whatever, this bit went on for a little bit, and this time a little bit kind of like looking, reflecting on it, going critical, like, do we need to be going on for this long with the, oh, I'm a madman or whatever, and like, oh, I'm tearing me clothes apart.
Of course you do.
But I don't know, I feel like it, he could have just gone, hello, little girl, what do you want, type of thing, and that cut to that, and that'd been fine. That would have been sufficient as a, like, or a little bit of a get away kind of thing. You're encapsulated in fear or whatever he says, kind of that kind of stuff. It just goes on for a bit too long. No, in my eyes, no, and because she's kind of like, I'm not bothered, I'm not scared anymore, kind of thing. So it's like, well, yeah, okay, well, you could have summed that up in the just like, oh, you're chairmeister and everything, yeah. But yeah, I have no qualms, no complaints, and obviously, blessing me. Eventually goes after a lot of back and forth with himself, between himself, which I feel like I do that. Like, I talk to myself, I'm like, oh well, I've got this and I've got this too. Couldn't possibly go, but then you're like, but what if the da. Yeah. And it just seems to work quite cleverly the way that it's done. Yeah. Bless him though, when he gets there, doesn't he have a run for his money? I would be sick. They throw him around in a chair, then they feed him loads of food. Force feeding him, should I say. It's like, again, that's almost like a horror element in itself. It's like, engorging him like gluttony kind of thing, like to the point of like, being sick almost, because, they and put him on a chair, like throw him around, like, oh, I'm going to be sick.
Definitely going to be sick.
Like, it's horrible. And
then make him do a jumping sack race. Yeah, with
that's with the Chariots of Fire music, which is the thing. Yeah. Music. It's like, okay, fair enough. But
and then he's just a big kid, isn't he? He's really enjoying himself.
He's like, I beat you.
Yeah. And I think he just clearly wants to be number one in... Exactly,
that's the whole reason he wanted to be, because that's the whole reason he wanted, like, an award, because he says, like, oh, that means they're losers. So it's a town full of losers. That's the reason he wants to go down, because, like, I'm better than you, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think that's because he's always been picked on, and he's never been number one or better than anyone, that he's, like, taking this moment and...
Yeah. But then the mayor has to, like, a little jab at him with a Christmas shave, which I guess, I don't know if that's an actual thing, or is that just something
I think it's
added in
a bit cruel because of the fact where
the reason why he left. Flashback to,
So he's doing it in everybody's thinking, a nice way, but actually it's a manipulative, mean way.
And then it's almost like one of those dickish things of, oh, by the way, I'm going to propose to Martha May at this point, just to rub salt on the wound kind of thing. It's like,
like doing it on somebody's birthday or something, isn't it?
Yeah, like taken away from the limelight of the situation. It's like, come on, that's not cool, dude. It's
a bit of a dick of a move, isn't it, really?
But any situation is like kind of like you've got like 20 seconds to answer the question.
This is so wrong.
It's like, and you get a car.
Yeah, commercials like here's a car if you marry me. And it's like, you shouldn't have to be bribed into marrying somebody. Like, you clearly want to or you don't.
Again, sound like the commercialism of the whole holidays that's the message is trying to get across of it and everything. But
people do go nuts around the holidays. It is ridiculous. Like, the amount of stuff that people get that then they won't use after the fact. Like, there's always food left over. I know I'm a culprit, but I'm really trying hard this year to not buy things I do not need.
Yeah.
And it's just gets a little bit over the top. Like, I know I have my lights and they make me happy. Mm-hmm. But all the presents that everyone gets, it's just greed, really, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Sometimes people can take it to a bit of an extreme of not giving and being nice and kind. It's more becomes a bit selfish and greedy. And I think that's what this kind of definitely does depict.
Mm-hmm. The fact that there is a Santa in this universe is kind of a bit surprising, though, don't you think? Because,
I like it.
Because in the other ones, there's no mention of it. Obviously, there's the implication, obviously, there's someone bringing the presents. Obviously, he's dressed up in the Santa uniform and stuff. But
well, clearly it must be Santa because he dresses up as Santa, doesn't he? In the classic.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. But you don't see a version of here's a Santa an actual Santa Claus like we know a Santa Claus with reindeer and everything. Mm-hmm. So it's like, that's odd. Modernising
it a little bit though, but they still have the red suit in either one.
Yeah. No, I'm not taking that way. I'm just pointing that out, really. Because in the other one, there isn't a Santa as such. Obviously, there's representations of him as being what we know as a Santa. But anyway, there's that. So then obviously you get him, getting the present like the other one,
Yep, and same encounter with Cindy Lou Who as well, with the Christmas tree lights. But there's this heartfelt part.
Yes.
Where Cindy Lou says, Santa, don't forget the Grinch. And then you're wondering, does she know he's the Grinch?
I want to give her the benefit of the doubt there, hoping that she's not just dumb as a sack of spuds type of thing. She does actually realise it's the Grinch, because obviously the green hands and everything, and I know he pokes his head through the tree and he's got the white stuff around him as if he's got a beard and everything. Yeah. But I kind of want to think that she does twig. There's kind of that implication that she kind of thinks, saying it slyly, but she really knows that it's him that's actually doing it, not... Yeah.
I think that is the case, and I think for the Grinch, for somebody to say, don't forget him, he kind of gets a little bit, you can see the guilt.
A little bit, but then he kind of says, what is it? Cute kid or something, bad judge character. It's it kind of turns anyway, so... Yeah. So, yeah, he's kind of not whatever. Mm-hmm. But he doesn't dwell on it for too long.
And then obviously steals everybody's Christmas.
Yeah.
Don't let them even have any hoo-hash or anything like that.
Just like the other one, yeah.
It's just so mean. It's like, don't take all the food they need to eat. It's like starving them.
I know, but I guess that's just how it's meant to be. It's just so relentless with it, and you get in this one, it's more of a reaction of oh, where's all the stuff and everything? And, where are the presents? And you don't go into every single person's house, but it kind of just everyone's going, what's going on type of thing.
Well, I think it must be a bit disappointing, not meaning that in a bad way, but Christmas Day is normally exciting to wake up to.
Yes.
And then you wake up to nothing in your house. Mm-hmm. You can't even make a cup of tea because he's taken everything.
Yeah.
I think I'd be a bit devastated if I couldn't have my cup of tea in the morning. So it's just simple things like that. You'd be like, there's no store open. What am I going to eat?
No.
That's what would be going through my head.
But then I don't like the fact it's kind of like a bit of a dickish thing of the mayor to be blame, but you believed that this not to be taken seriously, girl. The way
so mean towards
it's just
Cindy Lou,
why do you have to say it like that, man?
But
as
her
if
dad, to be fair, he finally steps up, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not about the gift. Proud of her, and it's not about the gifts or the thing. It's just got everything. The family is what it's all about, really. So, which is a nice sentiment, for that.
That's what I love about it. I do. That's why I think this one works the best version for me. Mm-hmm. It's got your moral, it's got good characters, it's got Jim Carrey in it, which is just absolutely outstanding. And the fact that it has a meaning for Christmas, it doesn't give me a tear moment too much.
there's not really anything that's really sad or anything. Even when he's doing obviously the music swells and he's Grinch is like, oh, they're still singing everything down there, and then he gets like I guess obviously it's like obviously Jim Carrey style of it really hurts kind of thing with the I'm feeling he says, which I get because obviously if he hasn't, it's a good way of showing that like it hurts because he's not used to like actual heartbeat going on with him. Obviously the emotion that he's got with it, and obviously like I love you, Max. He actually says it to the dog, and
he does, and it works really well. And then you can see obviously the presents are getting to a point of where they're falling off the cliff, and he's like, it's okay, it's fine, it's only presents. And then he realises Cindy Lou is...
I don't know why she climbed up there, to be honest.
I don't. But obviously then he's able to pull...
Yeah, save her. And, yeah.
And then slide down and everyone gets the presents and food, and then you have all the Christmas.
That's again. It's like a thing of like, he saves it all, but I guess it's sort of the thing of it's nice to have those things, but it's not the be-all, end-all, I guess.
That's what I meant about my lights. There we go.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because obviously still, in all these, it's kind of like he still takes them back to them so they have the food to enjoy with everybody and stuff like that.
But it is more enjoying that with everybody.
As opposed to just being on your lonesome. Yeah.
Or doing something selfishly for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
It's spending that time with your loved ones.
Yeah. I think that's long and short of it with that one anyway. Unless you've got anything else to add to this.
I think it's just the way that it ends is with Cindy Lou kind of touching the Grinch's cheeks.
Giving a kiss on the cheek.
Yeah. And she's like, your cheeks are and then he's like, hairy, greasy. And
going through all the bad stuff,
And he's like, warm. And I just think that's such a cute little line to have.
Yeah.
And it shows his insecurities coming out as well.
Yeah. Because he's just used to it all this time and everything, and he's kind of like, he just assumes that he's going to get arrested by the policeman. And it's kind of like, no, he's he said he's sorry, so it's okay.
He's brought everything back.
You wouldn't say that to a serial killer, but he said he's sorry. It's alright. All's forgiven, type of thing. But it's Christmas. It's fine, whatever.
And then they all have Christmas up at the mountain.
Yeah. And was it Martha May's confesses a love to the Grinch and everything. It's just kind of like, it's all right. He gets what he wanted all along. So someone who actually really does truly care about him, more like a romantic sense. Mm-hmm. So that's nice, I guess.
It all ties up lovely in the end. It really
and
does.
The mayor gets his comeuppance in the sense like, you didn't get the girl at the end. That's nice. Yeah.
He deserves it. He's a douchebag throughout.
Jim Carrey is what sells it really for, like I said at the beginning of this, where it's like, if it wasn't him, it'd be hard to sell as a good thing, because you do see the majority of the film with him, so I guess that reflects strongly on what you expect from the film, so that's fine.
If you don't like Jim Carrey, then don't watch it. Pretty much is exactly what I would say, because there isn't a scene without him, I don't really think.
Well, there's a few, isn't there? Obviously in the town, but more often than not, it's him on the screen, even if it's just by himself, not even interacting with anybody. So okay, so got long enough, but obviously we've got to cover the 2018.
It's shit. There we go. It's done.
Or 3D version is the Blu-ray we got. As stated, I was really like, when we were watching it this time, we watched it last year for the first time, but this time I was trying to look out for like, where would the 3D, like you when you go to see these things in the cinema, it's like in 3D, and it's like, well,
I don't really rate 3D to be fair.
The only the off topic, but the best 3D films examples in cinema I've seen were. Avatar is like top tier, like 3D. I've never seen that. That I know it's a shame that you didn't get the chance to see it in the cinema, because that would in 3D, because that would be the absolute pinnacle of like the best 3D I've ever seen in a film ever. It's so like, wow, you could literally touch it, kind of thing.
Oh wow.
The only other one I can think of really was and this was like, obviously I think very early stages of when it was kind of even more modernised in cinemas, was Monsters vs Aliens.
Okay.
which is like a DreamWorks animation film. And there was a lot more like the things of that where it's kind of like popping out the screen, and it was okay. Now and again, it wasn't like everything was like coming at you type of thing like Avatar was. But this one, I was like really struggling, going like, where would those elements be? I'm struggling here, but it wasn't the main focus of the film. I was kind of like trying to take in how the story was going to be. Like, it's obviously going to be a bit more, trying to be more hip and modernised.
I can't cope with that, and I know I sound really old, but it was just like it felt too hip and modern, and it was like, this is trying to be down with the kids, but it's overdoing it. That's what it felt like. Also, just going back onto the 3D.
Yes.
I feel like the last time I watched one, I think it was the rendition of the Christmas Carol.
Oh, with Jim Carrey.
With Jim Carrey,
well.
yeah. And that was not very 3D.
Was that in cinemas, or was that just... Oh, okay.
That's the last kind of 3D movie I can think of.
Okay.
I have encountered 4D. Is it 4D?
4D is the thing, yeah, but that's more like in Universal or something, I presume.
Yeah, so you get smell-o-vision and all of that, which is fantastic.
To a degree, I suppose.
Your chair moves and everything, and you get wind, and it's brilliant. But 3D, I don't really think... I feel like it's a bit of a waste of money.
Yeah, it's... Yeah, sometimes it is, more often than not. I've been to other things and think, why did I pay the extra money for this?
I feel like that one of the Jurassic Parks as well, I think was the last one I
I think there was a Jurassic Park 3D as well.
Yeah.
There was a Jaws 3D, and I think that was 3D, and it wasn't
there was like
actually, but yeah. Anyway,
dinosaur flying at me, but about it.
But anyways, you get the opening of this, and it's what they tend to do with these like 3D. When I say 3D, actual just 3D animation, not the fact that it's trying to be with 3D glasses. I'm just mean like 3D rather than 2D animation. You know, the sprawling landscape, like the establishing shot of like, this is the world that everyone lives in, and then you kind of like seeing all the townsfolk going, hey, how you doing? Don't forget, like, get your presents and all that kind of stuff and all that stuff. You always have those kind of thing, these films these days with the illumination ones.
You don't like it, do you?
I don't.
You slag the Minions off as well.
I don't. I mean, Despicable Me to begin with was fine, that was acceptable, and then kind of just they realised, the Minions are like very marketable, aren't they? So let's just plug them and just kind of make them like really super annoying.
They're overrated now, aren't they?
They really are. And to be honest, on the topic of Minions, there are a couple of instances where the characters in this do look very much like they would fit in the, like, you put a Minion there and they wouldn't be out of place in the way that kind of
like the little girl.
There's the little girl, and then there's another little girl that has like the big goggles on as well, and it's like, so you're obviously trying to subliminally shoehorn that in, I think. But the landscapes and the visuals of the backgrounds in this are the best parts of this film, I would say, more so. It's just the shame that the characters that really inhabit the world is a bit lackluster.
They don't have as much of the point as well of the traditional Who within this. The music is really, really hip to the point of where it's like more R&B hip, and it's not, for example, like the 2000 one, the opening number, it's like an orchestra kind of thing.
I think it was in this one, the 2018
I'm sure they jazzed it up some form or whatever. They
will have had some score, but...
And it just felt... I don't know if it made me feel old watching it.
Well, yeah, this is the sad truth of how things are going to be like. We're going to be like going through these films now. Like, what about the good old days when things were like, like not trying to be like, hey, trying to shoe on the modern trend or
it was
whatever.
like just too hip. It was just like too much. Like,
well, this one we had Pharrell Williams for some reason doing the narration. I don't know why that was.
I don't know either. I just feel like it's we need to grab a random famous person to do this.
I'm actually surprised. Obviously, they probably got him from, we did the Happy song from Despicable Me or whatever, whichever one that was. It's like, well, you're on our good books for doing that song. Why don't you just do the narration? I suppose there wasn't actually a song in this that he did.
Probably was, but we just didn't even know.
No, it was Tyler, the creator, I believe, who did the Grinch song in this one. Is a bit like, you're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. And
it's like R&B rap, and it's like...
Yeah. But it's a bit like...
What is this?
bit like a half-assed attempt at trying to do the song, and it was just like...
Well, I feel like when we had it in the actual 2001, it was Jim Carrey, wasn't it?
There were certain points, he was singing along, yeah.
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 So it made it better in that way.
Yeah. Whereas this one was kind of just playing the song out while he was just getting up in the morning, having a cup of coffee and such, like, oh, okay.
Also, my gripe with this is where the Grinch lives, it's go to bed, it's all pristine.
It's too bright, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, obviously the town is bright, obviously I would understand that, because everyone's like, it's snowy, it's all lit up and everything, like, that's fine. But yeah, his cave, where he's dwelling in this, like, isolated place that he lives, it's kind of like you say, it's like tidy, it's not very dark and dingy like you would expect for a character of that to be, like a grumpy
also,
soul. You're just like, oh yeah, it's whatever.
The design of the Grinch, like, I know that it's really not that hard to get this wrong, but
you feel like you got this wrong.
Yeah, and it's like, he doesn't look that grumpy in his facial expressions.
He looks more annoyed, doesn't he? Just a little bit
miffed
off. Yeah, exactly.
But not like compared to like absolutely rage of hate.
Yeah.
So
slightly mildly annoyed. Yeah.
Yeah, and also they're not really scared of him either.
Yeah, like we've mentioned before, like you can just go to town and it's like, oh yeah, he's going, and he's just a bit like, yeah, just whatever.
He's a bit of a recluse. He kind of just doesn't want to be part of the town, but he's not really.
But he has to go food shopping. Yeah. Because he's got no food in, so it's kind of like, ugh, I have to go and mingle with these people.
Well, yeah, that's how I feel sometimes when I have to go out.
Yeah.
To be fair. Especially with everything going on in the world, it makes you not want to go out.
It's still crazy that we're having to, like, point that out as being a thing, like, with everything going on in the world, and it's still going on that way with it. So I don't know when that will ever end.
God knows.
Yeah. Just our foreseeable future, isn't it? Like,
it's just never going to go away, I don't think. It's just going to be one of those reoccurring things.
Yeah, this whole pandemic bullshit, but yeah. But yeah, so he's kind of like having to go down to town, but he's pulling not so much pranks, but it's kind of like, just kind of ruining people's day almost a little bit. Like
being a bit mean, like that woman wanted the last jar of jam, and then he's like, he grabs it.
Well, of course, that's what he's going
to do.
He
could have passed it to her. No, puts it back going, I don't want that now, and then bumps it off the shelf, and I'm like, that's just a dick of a move.
Yeah, but that is his character, and he's meant to.
I don't feel like in the other Grinch, he's like that. It's like, what are you talking about? He's a bit of a pain in the bum, but it's not like a outrightly spiteful, like, oh, I'm just going to pick on that person and pick up that jar.
Well, I don't know, because
he's just spiteful to all in the 2000 one.
But he did, like, in the other one, so we're going back to that now, but, like, at the beginning when he goes down to the town and he's like, he has, like, a hacksaw or something, he cuts something, doesn't he, or something, oh, there's an accident, and you can see that.
Yeah, and he's like, here, children, run with this.
And stuff like, so there is that, so it's innocent, you obviously don't really see the effect of that as such, but I get what you mean, obviously, it's more, in this one, you've got to have some means of showing that he is a bit of a grouch. In the sense of, like, you know, like, oh, he can't look too like, oh, just like, people. He's got to be mean in some aspects, and that's a way of showing it, I suppose. You know, like he shoving the carrot through the snowman and just throwing snowball at people and all, like just getting rid of them, like grab the lights and chuck them away.
For it though, doesn't he?
But
and also, I don't really like it one bit. So it's like one extreme to the other for me. Like I absolutely love the 2001, and then we come to this one, and I'm like, I hate it. I
really don't see why this one needs to be made, really, other than just to modernise it a little tiny, insignificant bit.
If I have a child, they won't be watching this one.
No, I agree. It's one of those things that's just pretty backgrounds, pretty lacklustre people that are involved in it, really. The characters, like Cindy Lou, is not particularly endearing as such. She's kind of like I want my mum to be... She's like, again, single mum, whatever, and like, oh, I want to help her, but she goes out the door like every 2 minutes, like, see you later, kind of like not helping out. It's like, well, you know, like trying to be independent kind of thing, but
I have a
sassy, whatever.
With this, but it's like, well, what's happened to the dad? Like, where's he gone? Has he died?
Yeah, it's not,
why have you got so many children?
Yeah, because you just had those twins, I presume.
So
It's
where the hell's he gone?
Where's the dad? Yeah.
And then obviously her mum's working, and it's relatable. I get it. They're trying to make it more modern.
Modern society, whatever.
Yeah, but single mum and everything like that. And it is a struggle, I can imagine. And it's one of those things where, does that really need to be in this? Why have they twisted the storyline and changed it? I do not know, because I don't feel like that storyline needed amending.
No, it's just a means of modernising it. That's all that they're just trying to do, make it relatable to the everyday woman, I don't know, or majority of.
But I feel like the moral was correct already for the 2000, that they didn't need to change it.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand, she'll want to help her mum out, and technically in the end she kind of does, but I don't know, I can't really gel with it. I feel like he wants to steal Christmas, but you don't really understand why. Yeah,
in this one it's kind of like just, he was an orphan. He was at an orphanage. There was no one else there, apparently. Like, why is this big build? Why was this big building if there's no other orphans there? It's like no decorations at all.
I think it made it sound like somebody had taken them home for Christmas. So basically,
every single child except for him.
Yeah. But there must be an adult or something somewhere.
Yeah, there'd be something to, like, it wouldn't just be absolutely bare building with nothing, no decorations whatsoever. It kind of seems like a bit odd, really, that whole aspect of it. And it's like, that's your sad excuse for an explanation as to why he hates Christmas, because I don't know, it just...
I don't feel like it's justified for him to take it off the Who's then. They haven't done anything.
No.
Whereas in the 2000s, obviously, it is their fault why they've made him that way.
Exactly, yeah.
Whereas
more
this
justified.
One, there's no reason, and it's taken out on just innocent people, I feel.
Yeah, and I think in this one, unless you can remember differently, in the other ones, when he looks over at Max at one point, and it's like he's got snow on his face, and he gets like, how am I going to stop Christmas? And it's like, because of the way that the snow falls on in the shore, and this one is like snow on his face. Oh, I can be Santa and take it away from him that way, because no one's, like, if I'm disguised as Santa, no one would suspect that. I don't think. I'm pretty sure in this one he doesn't come to that conclusion. It's kind of just like, oh, I'll just steal Christmas, like, yeah. And even, I mean, what Max in this one isn't particular. He's all right for a dog in terms of, like,
I don't like
he's
his
okay,
design though either. Like,
he's got like a quiff thing going on or something like that, or whatever. He's not. He's all right for. He's not particularly cute as such.
No,
like the other ones are.
But then they have to put in the reindeer and the goat.
Oh, that goat! That was just a shit joke. Like, oh, it was funny because there was that screaming goat meme from
Taylor Swift. You in trouble.
Yeah, and many other songs. Yeah, they just like throw that in with the like One Direction or other, like sampling those things and just putting that in. Oh, that was funny. Like, how many years ago? That's so dated. That was like.
I feel like this one will feel dated. So eventually, somebody who will watched it, and then when you put it on, it'll be like, oh my god, this is such a whatever vibe.
It's definitely dated.
It will get dated.
The other one, I'll give you that one. This other one, there's nothing like, it's VHS or anything like that, DVDs or anything that can clearly date that to like a period in time. This one, with this, like all that other memes or kind of like, let's do twerking and thing, like those kind of shit little things.
I feel like this reminds me of, and I feel like this makes me feel really old, it's like going back to Space Jam for me. It's a bit of equivalent of that. So obviously you've got your Space Jam original, which is my Grinch. Okay. For 2000s.
I get my Grinch because I like really adhere to that one quite strongly. But yeah.
And then it's like the new Space Jam is this version of the Grinch. Yeah, that's like literally the equivalent.
I'm sad to say, I think the newer Space Jam is a lot worse than this one in most aspects.
No, sadly. I think that's because you love Space Jam so much that this is probably how I feel about it.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. I can't even, I don't even want to talk about it. Like,
yeah, we are.
Yeah. So, because this is what was so weird about doing this, because like I was so excited about talking about the Grinch, and then you were like, oh, well, let's do 3. And I'm like looking at you thinking, I could literally just talk about
Yeah, I know.
the 2000 Grinch. Like, we could make a full episode of that.
Which probably nearly have at the time we're going on. But
yeah,
I just feel like it would make sense just because, like, one other opportunity we're going to talk about this one, and just go like, yeah, this clearly didn't really need to be really made. It's just got elements that don't need to be thrown in, like so the reindeer. This what he's called him Fred or something.
Yeah,
for whatever reason.
Fred. And he's so, bless him, he's quite overweight, isn't he? This reindeer.
Yeah, because that's funny. He's a fat character, and yeah, it's like
he is a cute design. Don't get me wrong. Like, I can see like merch kind of flying off the shelves for this fat reindeer.
Yeah, I guess.
Like that's kind of like, I can see that happening for a little child. But
the fact in this one that the Grinch is a lot more friendly. He's not as mean as the other ones, is he? He's kind of just like, oh, Max is, I'm sorry, Max. And
they get all in his bed as well at one point, like the reindeer.
Yeah, the reindeer is like, he lets him go. Like, that's not what the Grinch is about, considering like he was like knocking jars off the shelf before. And it's like, it's like, oh, it's when it suits him, he kind of flits for things. And then there's the technology in this is what is his means of, it's just kind of innovative, I guess, in the sense when he's taking the present stuff, and there's that whole like montage when it's panning across the thing. That works. That's kind of a nice way of showing like transition of time. I think the stars in the sky or the moon or whatever is moving as he's going house to house and house and doing all the stuff that he's taking all the stuff. That's fine. I can accept that. It's kind of creative. But like I forgot to mention in the other one how it makes sense for how he creates the sleigh in that one, because obviously he got a lot of junk to make all that.
Well, you don't know where he gets any of this.
All this tech that he's got, he's just got it. Yeah.
Also, with this one, obviously Cindy Lou, who is kind of wanting to trap Santa.
Yeah.
And this is how they have the encounter. So it's not the same element of the light.
Yeah.
Being kind of a bulb's out, I'm going to take you to my workshop and fix it up for you. She traps him in there.
Yeah.
And it's like one of those kind of things where it's like it doesn't really bode that well. So it's like, I don't know. Just, I understand where she was coming from and wanting to say, oh, can you kind of look after my mum? But that's a lot of pressure to put on a little kid. It's like kind of going back to Frosty. Not Frosty.
Jack Frost.
Jack Frost. Yeah. I know what I meant.
Yeah. You don't want to like impose like, oh, I'm got the weight, she's got the weight of the world on her shoulders. Like, like she does a lot of hard work and she just needs someone to take care of her and stuff. I don't know if that's certainly at the end, if that's trying to implicate that, oh, the Grinch is going to be my new dad type of thing, or I think because like he's single and my mum's single, or something. It's inviting him to the house and everything with a meal and everything, and
he helps out and such. So it might just be that additional help. So like her wish is kind of being granted through the Grinch.
Yeah,
I feel like that's
take
what
some of the burden
portraying.
off. Yeah.
Even though I know once the Grinch does steal Christmas, Cindy Lou Who thinks it's her fault because she's trapped Santa.
Yeah.
So there is that kind of, you do feel sorry for her because she thinks it's her fault and she's blaming herself.
Yeah.
But, I don't want to talk about it anymore.
No. Yeah, I think we've covered most of that anyway, really.
It's just crap. It just didn't need to be done. It's too modern and it doesn't give you the feels, really.
No, it really doesn't. It's kind of just like a lot of things are just done for the sake of doing it. Like even the bit, the sleigh's going to fall, like on the top of the mountain top or whatever, and this time it's reindeer to the rescue, or Fred and his family because he let him go early. It's like, where did you come from, kind of thing. It's like, just to have that bit, really. And
the ending with the goat again screaming.
Yeah, that's the final scene after, like, sentimental, like pan out and everything. Goat screams. Well, that's a great thing to end on, isn't it? Yeah, like
they think, it's a laugh.
That's funny.
I also have a gripe as well with the fact that he wears pants in this,
which are exactly the same as his skin. So it's like again,
why does somebody even need to draw that? That's such a waste of somebody drawing pants that he already has.
I think I'm right in thinking that in this one, all the other ones, the other two, they've got him wearing shoes because that obviously makes the line about why his shoes might be too tight is why he might be grumpy or whatever.
Yeah.
And this one, I think you pointed out, is like, well, he's just again skin coloured shoes that match his outfit.
Yeah.
So what's that?
He looks really
What's
weird, like he's peeling his skin off.
Yeah. Another layer of skin, like a snake. Yeah.
Weird.
It's odd. It's so odd, but it's not particularly strong, and I feel like it didn't need to be made. Really, we were fine with an extended version with the 2001 from the original cartoon short that was from 1966.
I think that's really true to the
things.
The cartoon, really.
Yeah. That was definitely more to the point, and then this one's just trying to be more hip and just not really working. To be
really
honest.
true moral.
Yeah, not really. It's trying to encapsulate what the other ones were, but they just did a lot better, I think. So, okay, I think we've been talking long enough now, so we will go to the scores and start, obviously, as we've gone through them.
Who's going first?
I will go. What, all in one? Or?
All in one. Boom, boom, boom.
Okay. I think for the 1966 version, I think I'll go 9.5.
Okay, yeah. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
I'm taking that. Yeah.
I know it's so odd that it's taken this long to see it. I'm so glad.
It would be one of those things you'd watch every year now, do you think?
Yeah, because it's like a truant version of the 2001. It's like, it doesn't take up too much of your time. I know I've only seen it twice in the past couple of days or whatever, but there's still imagery that's still sticking with me, like scenes. Obviously, because it's rather short, there's a lot more to digest from that, as opposed to like a long film with like loads of stuff to take in. But there's certain things, maybe it's just my anime head really kind of like thinking of these things over and over, but there's certain things that kind of just still sticking in my mind. So it's kind of like, obviously, I guess throughout Christmas and stuff, they'll still be playing in the back of my mind, kind of thing.
Oh, wow.
So it's kind of really stuck with me, and I'm kind of glad. I know it's shameful that it's taken me this long, like I said, to have seen it, but it's definitely my favourite. I'm going to say that. It's going to be my favourite, highest scoring of the lot. I don't know if it made a bit longer it would work as such, but I think there's only so much you can cram in and within that time frame. So I'll let it slide on that, but I think it just works really well, and I just like the Looney Tunes vibe that we've got going on with it. So that's the high point.
It's your inner child in you, isn't it?
Yeah, despite not seeing it as a child. So
okay, I'm happy with that.
Okay,
so 2000s.
Yeah,
no pressure, Paul.
Yeah,
tread carefully. You might have cold for Christmas.
This might be my last Christmas.
Yeah.
Not getting married. For the 2000s Jim Carrey Grinch.
Yes, Paul?
Okay. When you said, like, when you spoke to me yesterday or whenever it was, it's like, you say, it's not going to be a 5. Is there anything lower than that? I said, no, it's not going to be.
It's okay.
Don't worry about that.
I've got a score in my head, which I'm happy if it is.
Oh, for me?
Yeah.
Okay, right. Oh, God, no pressure. I think, honest truth be told, I'm going to put it at... I'm going to shield myself from this. But if I say 6.5...
What?
Is that too low?
Yeah.
Okay. How high do you think I was going to go?
Why are you going so low? I was thinking an 8.
No, sorry. No, I can't give it an 8, sorry.
Ruin my Christmas.
What if I made it 7?
No, your opinion counts. But why? You have to back it up now. Why?
It's definitely something I've not really got the nostalgia for like you have. That's you've got to bear that in mind. For one thing, like I say, Jim Carrey's definitely what sells the film the most.
So what's bad about it?
Well, I've kind of gone through like the fact that there's certain aspects of this with the Who's themselves are very much like unlikable.
I guess, but that's why you've got the moral of the story. But anyway, it's your opinion. It's fine. Yeah. It's your score.
Yeah,
can't sway you.
No. And like I said about that, some of the lighting and stuff on it seemed kind of dark and dingy for what it is. It's supposed to be like a Christmas film, but it kind of seems kind of dull and muted. But I don't know what. I'm not saying that just throw like purpose to like ruin everything about you. You've got your own opinions on it, of course, but I'm just saying that's how I feel about it. And
I'm worried now. If that's 6.5, well, what's the other one going to be?
oh, it's going to be lower than that. Don't worry.
It better be way lower. Paul's getting mucky looks. Like if anyone could actually see me right now, absolutely devastated. This doesn't feel like a very Christmas episode now, Paul.
It does because I gave the other one higher.
Yeah. Okay.
We got to bear that in mind. And the film is quite long when you think about it. I didn't realise it was like nearly 2 hours long, hour and 45 for this.
Oh yeah, like that's long. There's been plenty of longer films I've watched.
But for something that's, you know, like meant to be for kids and stuff to keep their attention for a while, then that's quite long, isn't it? Normally hour and a half for a kids film, but anyway.
Yeah, for any film Sophie can tolerate normally.
Yeah.
It's only 15 minutes extra.
Could have trimmed a little bit,
okay.
perhaps, but anyway.
Move on.
The other one, this new iteration, the only really positives I can really say about it is the background visuals, as I've said a couple of times throughout this. It's pretty in that regard. Nothing else really kind of stands out. It doesn't really feel like it doesn't really need to exist. I don't really get anything else from it. It's not like, oh yeah, let's put this one on.
Mm-hmm.
It's really the fact that it's Benedict Cumberbatch who's doing like a American accent, and it's like, why did you get him to do this? Because there's nobody else who could have done it. It's like it doesn't really come across. It kind of his whole demeanour in this seems off for what it is, and it seems a bit too bright for what he's all about, and yeah, it just doesn't really work for me. So I'd put this. I put it at a 3.
Okay. Yeah.
For that, the visuals are what the saving grace for it, but everything else is just.
Yeah.
Okay, so now over to you.
So Merry Christmas, everyone. Let's bring it back to the light-hearted now we've had Paul's crappy, pooey show on. We'll go to nice cities, because that's what Christmas is about. Not slagging somebody's favourite film. Okay, so we're not talking to Paul right now. I'm going to talk to the listeners and just ignore Paul. I'm not even going to look at him. I'm not looking at you.
All right, just get to the
So my scores are, and I'm not going to be as long-winded as Mr. Parks. I'm going to be brief, snappy to the point. So
as she drags it out.
The first TV series, original, I am going to score as a 9. For all the nice, fluffy reasons that it is, it's just a lovely 25-minute nutshell. I think I'd want to watch it every year. Perfect. Brilliant. Clearly, the 2000 one is not a 6.5 or a 6 or whatever he gave.
I gave a 6.5.
I'm not even tolerating that.
Would have said 7 if it was going to save my bacon, but...
No, you should have said 8 if it was going to save your bacon.
No, sorry, I can't give it that high.
Well, because it's Christmas, and because it's nostalgia, and because it's the Grinch.
That's more for you, understand nostalgia.
And I love it to bits, and I've been to Whoville, and it just brings back all these childhood memories. Okay. And Jim Carrey is fantastic. You can't fault him. I can't believe you're giving him a performance of 6.5 when he's clearly a 10. So my score for this is a 10. Okay. It's up there for me. Okay. It really is. Okay. And then I do agree with you, however, on the 2018 Grinch version. Okay. My score would be a 3. So I agree with you on that. Okay. Can't give it a 2 bar out because it's not completely crap. Yeah. But I feel like it's okay on its own entirety. But when you're comparing to what you know,
yes,
you can. If something's a 10 and then that's clearly a 3, it's hard. Okay. But obviously, the fact that you only had 3 more points from that to that, it's just mind-boggling.
Briefly, can we just... I feel like we've got maybe a bit more surmise as to what... Because obviously, like, you think of, like, Singing in the Rain.
Yep.
In comparison to this.
Yep.
What's the parallel with that? Because I'm it's probably a nostalgia thing, because I've done things nostalgia.
Yeah.
I've just given them a 9.
No,
Like,
it's a 10. But Jim Carrey's performance is amazing, and you can't fault his acting in this. He's singly acting on his own for quite a bit.
yeah, I get that. Yeah.
He's ad-libbing. He's got this amazing dog that actually is acting. And normally I don't really enjoy dog acting, but Max portrays it very well.
Yeah.
Also, it has that meaning of Christmas element, so it's got a good moral behind it, and I feel like that's why it works.
Don't take my what's seen in the low score as a bad thing. It's not like I can't possibly watch this ever again type of thing. It's something that I kind of just go, yeah, I can accept it for what it is. It's not like this is fantastic, I can't wait to see it.
No.
It's just something that's comforting and just like enjoyable for what it is, type of thing. It's not like, again, not throwing shade at Jim Carrey for what he's doing. It's kind of funny for the most parts of it, really.
I think for me, he's the best comedian as well, so his humour really does kind of go well with me, and that is a rarity for humour. Like, normally I don't laugh, but throughout this I do laugh. So I feel like that in itself is a 10 worthy aspect for me, because otherwise I'd kind of quite a stone-faced person with comedy. So
I still want that Adam Sandler Grinch to be made, just to see how that would pan out. It would be amazing if that actually came.
I'm never watching it.
And with that being said,
I think people now need to know that we do have a Buy Me a Coffee page, and I feel like just buy me a full wine bottle because I'm devastated. So just don't get Paul anything. He doesn't deserve it. He's ruined Christmas.
But you can help us give money to the Alzheimer's Society.
Yes.
That we've already donated money towards, of course, but a little bit extra if we are able to get to 10,000 downloads by the end of the year. So if you get your ears listening in, tuned in onto Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, Good Pods, or wherever else you might get your podcasts from, to get downloading all the previous stuff we've done, even in the Christmas archives that we've got from the last year. Some interesting ones there, for sure. They'll be greatly appreciated. Obviously, we do want to try and reach that goal and hopefully get a bigger fan base, of course. That's another aspect of this. We're trying to reach out to broaden our horizons and everything. So it's obviously been a good year for us, I think. We've made some good connections. There's a good guests and stuff. And
we've really branched out, and I feel like we're kind of getting to a point of where we have got quite a good kind of even getting to know certain other podcast people
very well.
really well, and making good friendships out of that as well. So it's lovely to kind of get to know somebody who you might have never met before, but you've kind of been combined in because you're interested in the similar thing.
Exactly, yeah. And of course, next time will be our 100th episode. So,
well, that's not if Sophie just decides to go alone. I wouldn't be able to. It wouldn't ever get aired, would it?
No, you wouldn't know how to edit it, would you?
No, just be like, ran in.
How does this work? So
I just post it raw.
Do you want to give an indication to what those things that we're going to be covering for the people?
Am I allowed?
I think we don't normally do that, but we do actually have a plan of what we're actually set in stone for what we're covering, so we may as well tell them.
So, Paul's going to break my heart again.
Yeah, but
this one I'm going to be a little bit more lenient with, I think, to be fair. It is another Christmas film.
I do hope that you're going to be a bit more lenient.
I know you're going to score this low already, and it does ruin it for me anyways.
It's really surprised me that you think... Anyway, we'll get onto that when we get to it. But
that film's going to be, and it's going to be an interesting one, so definitely tune in on it.
Yeah.
It's going to be Christmas with the Cranks.
That's one of them.
Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Yeah. And then for sort of my choice of a Christmas film, that was just going to be the Soul episode.
Christmas film.
It is technically a Christmas film. I'm quite excited to see. I've heard fairly good things about it, and I feel like it encompasses sort of all aspects of us, really, because it's got horror, It's got Christmas.
Oh, yay! Christmas and horror!
And it's a musical of sorts. So we both kind of like those aspects. So it's kind of like a bit of me, a bit of you,
horror.
and a bit of both.
Okay.
So there's that. That's Anna and the Apocalypse.
Woo! Okay, I don't know nothing about it. So the next one is something quite nice and dear, and it's not a Christmas film.
Yeah. This is the only one that's not going to be a Christmas film. Sorry, peeps, but if you expect another one, but I feel like we kind of want to bring everything back around from our very first very short episode. We started the whole podcast journey.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, I feel like it's justified to give it a proper review, and that is going to be Kiki's Delivery Service.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to rewatch it again.
Yeah.
Different eyesights, different frame of mind.
Get more insight and delve into it a bit more. So,
So there you have it. That's our 100th episode in a nutshell, really, for what was going to be on there.
Mm-hmm. Lastly, before we go, and obviously if you're going to listen to those episodes, be sure to share your thoughts and feelings on our Instagram and Twitter pages under the handle SP_filmviewers. Any interactions on there are greatly appreciated of how you find the show, if you've got anything you want to see or have us cover for the future, things like that and everything, or just say how great we are and all this stuff. And
what 2022 is going to look like. Do we want to sack Paul off completely and just have a Sophie show? Or would you like Sophie to pick more films? Stuff like that. Yeah. Just a little bit more of an insight of how we want to kind of go into 2022. Mm-hmm. Quite excited for 2022.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a big event, obviously, in October.
Yes.
For next year, so that's be the...
And I'll be getting even older.
I know,
but technically I'll be moving out of my 20s.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you for listening to us. If you made it to the end, we greatly appreciate this. Maybe, I don't know if it's the longest episode we've done, I don't know, but there was a lot to cover, I think, mainly for the middle part of the Grinch of Sophie's. Jesus.
I think actually you talked quite a bit, to be fair, tonight. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed this one, actually.
You did, I could tell.
Yeah. But,
even though you didn't scroll that high.
Yeah, I know, I just got to get my points out. Yeah. It's only fair. So, thank you very much for listening, and we will speak to you for the 100th episode next time.
Speak to you next time.
Take care now.
Bye.
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 Bye.